Are you ready?
Are you?
Yes.
Great.
All right. Pound. Boom. All right. Don't blow it up. Hey everybody, welcome to another super edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing great. Happy February. Happy. I don't know. That's all I got. It's kind of getting to be like the end of February, and it's been a couple weeks since we did an episode, but we're very happy to be back.
We're back, baby.
And
Better than ever.
Maybe. We'll see.
Or
we'll see.
than ever.
Yeah. Something like
than
that.
ever.
Something. Can only go up from here after that intro. But no, in all seriousness, it is great to be back. And it's also great, as always, to send a shout out to our two sponsors, I'm Organizing and Wes Woodson. Again, big thank you to them for the great support of this show, and links will be in the description. So definitely check them out. So for tonight's episode, since we have been gone a couple weeks, if you've been living under a rock, welcome back. But in all seriousness, last Sunday? No, sorry, 2 Sundays ago was Super Bowl Sunday. Between the good old Kansas City Chiefs making their second straight Super Bowl appearance and the San Francisco 49ers. And what, interestingly enough, was a rematch of the 2020 Super Bowl. And I did find it kind of interesting, side note, how many sports-related things and just world-related things from 2020 are starting to come true 4 years later in 2024. I kind of made the joke to a few people that from now on, you could just pencil in that in presidential election years, it's going to be the Niners and Chiefs in the Super Bowl from now on, because that's what it's been each of the last two, presidential election years. So definitely just kind of a wild coincidence there. But the Super Bowl was 2 weeks ago. Again, the Niners and the Chiefs, and the Kansas City Chiefs did pull it out in overtime. It was a thrilling game, folks. I got to tell you. It was right down to the wire, especially the second half. Both teams really started lighting up the scoreboard offensively in the second half. And like I said, it went to overtime.
Took a little while to get there, but
it took a little while to get there, but it really picked up in the second half. And the Niners kicked a field goal early on in overtime, but then the Chiefs did go down and score a touchdown to win their second Super Bowl in a row, third Super Bowl in 5 years, which is pretty wild. So congratulations to the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift on the Super Bowl title. I kind of just had to throw that out there just to annoy Kyle. But anyway, they're still going strong, by the way, and all letters again can be said to Kyle Souza. Dropping last names. That's how serious this is.
Wow.
The roast is. Didn't actually mean to do that. So strike that for the record. Nobody heard anything. But anyway. It's kind of funny that I say that, like, basically, probably anyone that actually watches this show still probably already knows our last names. It really does not make that big of a difference.
I think we're good.
But anyway, if you don't know our last names, ignore the last 5 minutes of the episode. But anyway, so let's get into it, Kyle. This is our Super Bowl recap episode for the Super Bowl. Again, that was a couple weeks ago. Obviously, we're going to touch on the game a little bit. Obviously, listen, the big thing for us each year is more the entertainment side, the halftime show, and the commercials. So we're going to do a big deep dive into those coming in. But I did want to start out talking about the game itself because it was an exciting game. And obviously, anytime a Super Bowl goes into overtime, it was actually only the second overtime game in Super Bowl history, the first being when the Patriots came back against the Falcons back 7 years ago now, which is wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, the second overtime game in Super Bowl history, the Chiefs ultimately getting it done in the final minute too of that overtime paired with the touchdown. So Kyle, I just wanted to ask you your overall thoughts on the game itself from what you saw of the Super Bowl.
I mean, I thought it was a good game. I admittedly arrived a little late to the game. So I was because I had some plans before the game actually started, but honestly, it was one of those situations where I didn't really care, and luckily I didn't really seem to miss much anyways because, like you said, it was a bit of a slow start, and I wasn't really rushing to get to this game in the first place. But on the other hand, you're right, especially in the second half where it did pick up, it was actually a pretty thrilling game. It was a lot of fun to watch. I personally didn't really care that much who won. I didn't really have a stake in the game. I didn't really have a side I really chose. I was just like, whatever team wins. I just wanted to watch the game. So that's all.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like me, I think I for basically 3 hours became the number one 49ers fan out there just because I am so tired of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Chief
fair.
fatigue going on, and now it's kind of funny in the aftermath. People kind of have been saying it's true now. Us Patriots fans kind of realize what the rest of the country, the rest of the NFL went through all those years. Kind of like now I get it now, for sure. But in all seriousness, it was a great game. Just for the casual football fan even, and it was really right down the wire. And both teams played incredibly well. I gotta give a lot of credit to obviously Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback in his own right. But I gotta give a lot of credit to Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the 49ers, who despite it being like his first Super Bowl ever appearance, really held his own and really actually looked very solid in that game, and I was very very impressed by his performance. So I definitely wanted to give him a big shout out there. But it was a great game, and like I said, congrats to the Chiefs. I mean, they got it done at the end of the day, and
yeah, I mean, both teams, they seemed like they really were trying to. It wasn't a situation where one team was kind of slacking or the other team was playing that much better. Honestly, they both. It was really down to the wire, like you said. It was very close. And one just quick comment I just want to throw in there. I understand the whole, like, I get it. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are dating. I get that. That's fine. Hey, listen, I'm not, going to badmouth your relationship at all. But
he already did that 2 episodes ago, so he doesn't need to do it anymore.
Well, it was more in the potential future. But that's a whole other story. We're not going to remember that one. We're not going to go there.
Go watch our New Year's predictions episode.
Well, I didn't say anything about a potential breakup song that Taylor Swift may or may not write once they break up. I mean, what? Anyways, I just love how. When we were watching the Super Bowl,
they showed her way too much.
Yes,
they showed her way too much.
Thank you.
I know, but they showed her way too much every game. So what else? I mean, well, you kind of go in expecting it, so like you're not really like surprised by it, but at the same time, yeah, you're right. They showed her like you don't have to show her after every single play that the Chiefs run, pretty much.
It was like every time Travis Kelce lifted a finger, all he had to do was lift a finger, and they were like, "Oh, we got to cut the tail." It's just reaction. I'm like, you don't have to just. Leave it alone. Let her be.
And by the way, listen, I respect Travis Kelce, but he did something that like kind of crossed the line during the game in my mind. I don't know if you saw this, but he like literally got so upset that he almost like knocked over his own coach, like in frustration because he.
Oh, I think I heard something about that.
He literally was like upset about. I forget exactly what like the scenario was, but he got like so upset on the sideline that he like basically like went up and like. Nearly like he basically like did run into his like coach on the sideline in a heat of frustration. Hey, listen, give him credit. He did acknowledge afterwards that he crossed the line there and he apologized. But at the same time, like you just have to, especially when all cameras are on you, literally. Like you kind of have to be better than that.
In a game like the Super Bowl,
this
isn't a simple scrimmage here, guys. This is
Super Bowl. This is the big time. But that's the only real issue I had with him from that game was that moment. But other than that, I think I do agree with you though. There was way too much Taylor Swift footage. I mean, listen, we get it. She's his girlfriend, but like.
Just
come on, you can like maybe like if he scores like a touchdown, maybe you like do a quick shot to her, but not after like every play that the Chiefs run. Like I said,
like every like other play or like maybe every 2 or 3 other plays kind of thing. Like just I get it, but like just stop, just leave them alone, guys.
Just let it.
We get it.
as the Beatles said, let it be.
Yeah, exactly.
Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Seriously, words live by.
But yeah, no, it was just a great game, and definitely one of the better Super Bowls in recent memory. So, congrats to the Chiefs, and next year we'll see if they if they're able to go for the three-peat in next year's Super Bowl. A lot remains to be seen. But listen, we all know what we really came here to talk about with this game, and that is the entertainment. The halftime show, the commercials, and why the Dunk Kings commercial was the #1 commercial of the year,
hands down.
Let's get into that first, Kyle, because I've been waiting for 2 freaking weeks to talk about this Dunk Kings commercial with you, especially because you're kind of like the entertainment expert on the show and stuff like that. Just. What did you think? Like, that thing, I don't mean to lead the witness here, but that thing was freaking awesome. Like, I loved every second of it.
Because I remember, because luckily I actually had watched it because it came on literally maybe like minutes after I had just like, stepped in to watch the game. And I had seen a couple like pretty funny commercials before then. The commercial was pretty okay this year, but you're right. That one just took the house. That one just like that was the best. Like I loved what Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and special guest Tom Brady did there. I was
Jennifer Lopez,
up, like,
just like how natural her reaction seemed. Like
that was fantastic, and the whole like
Fat Joe just making a random appearance. By the way,
that was Fat Joe. Okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, no, who doesn't mention this Fat Joe just pop his head out of nowhere?
Yeah, I mean, it was Ben Affleck's foray into rap, and it was just hilarious. It was great. It was, what it reminded me of actually. It's funny because when I was looking at this commercial. I was wondering if Dunkin' Donuts was kind of referencing when Al Pacino. So I don't know if you guys ever saw this Adam Sandler movie called Jack and Jill. It came out like in 2011, and I know a lot of people when it came out, it got a lot of negative reviews and stuff like that. But it did have this hilarious scene where, because Al Pacino was like one of the guest actors in the movie, he played himself. He was just in the movie for whatever reason, and he had a really funny. I'll have to show you after. Actually, he had a funny. It was like a Dunkachino commercial that he did, and it kind of reminded me of that. So it kind of had a similar vibe, and I think that was one of the reasons I really liked this commercial too. I think it was just kind of Dunkin' Donuts making fun of themselves a little bit, and it was hilarious.
Well, it's kind of funny because like usually for like Super Bowl commercials, like there's so many of them that like a lot of times I forget like 99% of them, and like actually like if we're doing the recap episode or whatever, I have to like kind of go back through and like remind myself what some of the commercials were. But this one, like you couldn't forget it because it's like Tom Brady's in it, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Duncan. I mean, it's just like all these like things mixed together and just like perfect use. And I was actually showing Kyle what actually I like. I think I actually might have liked this just as much, if not more, than the commercial itself. I was showing Kyle just before we came on air. There was like a behind the scenes thing that they that they dropped, where like literally it's just Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Tom Brady throwing a football through like a tire, and like Tom Brady just is like not missing like at all, which it shouldn't surprise anybody. And it just was the coolest thing ever. Like it was fantastic. I mean, it really was. It took the cake. Not all due respect to the other commercials. Like, in my opinion, probably part of it's the fact that we're from New England. Obviously, Duncan's such a big deal around here. It was just... And Tom Brady was in it. I mean, all that good stuff. It was just... It was fantastic. But I did want to ask you, Kyle, were there, from the commercials that you saw, like, watching the game, were there any others that, like, stood out to you, or any like either positively or negatively? Were there any others that kind of grabbed your attention besides obviously the one we just were talking about?
So there there were a handful of them that I remember in more good ways, but other ones not so. So let's see. I'll start with the not so great one just to get that one out of the way.
Sure.
Was I think one of the so I hate it. So I'm sorry. I'm just gonna vent a little bit here. I hate it when big companies, especially like car companies, they try to do this like kind of short film where it's like one of those like tug at your heartstrings short films, and it's just like there was this one where I mean the film, to its credit, was well made and stuff like that. It was a fun little short, but at the same time it was about this girl who was in a skating competition, and she was sad because her grandpa, who I think was immobilized for some reason, they didn't really explain the whole situation, but he basically couldn't attend her show. So
I remember this one. Now that you're mentioning it, I remember this one. Yeah.
So then what happens is they do this like, feel good moment where she drives up to her grandpa who lives like way up in the mountains, and she recreates the show on the ice in front of her grandparents.
Right.
Like it looks like they live in like a log cabin or something like that. And it was because I thought the message was cool. I had nothing wrong with the message, and I thought the acting was great. It almost was like a silent film. But then the whole thing that just completely ruined it for me was like, oh, she hopped in this Volkswagen to go up to the mountain. I'm just like, okay, let's just stop. Just no. It was either Kia or Volkswagen. I couldn't even remember. See, that's the thing. I remember the actual commercial, but I don't remember what was actually being advertised. I think that's kind of a shitty job from the people who did the commercial there. It's just I hate when car commercials and other big companies do that. Sorry.
Look at no. I agree with you totally. Look at it on the flip side, though, to your last point. Now it's gonna potentially make you or somebody else out there go back and look for the commercial to see what brand it was. So.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's a sort of long-term thing. Like, oh yeah, I remember that heartstring.
Oh, let me go look back for
this.
this. I want to go watch the commercial. I'm going to look back for it, and then you'll like sort of inundate you with the product there. So
yeah, it's easy.
It's so bad, and it's genius.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. If you just search probably like ice skating Super Bowl commercial, it'll pop up right. It'll be like the first one. Like, oh, It was us. It was our car that did that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
I just blew up Kyle's whole point, but that's okay.
No, you didn't blow up the point. You
No, I kind of blew up the whole like. Oh, I forgot about that. I don't even know what brand it was.
That point. Yeah. You made a good counterpoint there. So I respect that. That's actually a very solid counterpoint there. So no, you're right. People are gonna they like the commercial so much. It's so well filmed, and then they're like, who did that? And you're like, oh, it's a stupid car commercial. Okay, whatever. But
hey, no publicity. I mean, bad publicity is still publicity, or whatever.
True.
Yeah, something
True.
like that.
So big companies, just stop making these like sad, like, oh, social justice and all this commercial with the whole company underlying it. It's like, you just stop. No, just stop. And also sorry, just really quick point too, the Jesus ads were cracking me up. I'm just like, all right, you're really forcing it now.
But Kyle, he gets us.
It's what is Catholicism now, like getting bankrupt? Like, are they just gonna?
Well, I mean, that's like I think like that was like before the Super Bowl. Like that's been like a brand of commercials that's like been going on for a while now. So
true, but like, they hit hard at the Super Bowl. We won all the spots, so it's like clearly
I hear you. Listen, I mean, it's like those are kind of like the two annoying roads that those commercials go down sometimes. Like. Some of them get too religious and some of them get too political. Like those are the two that I just can't stand. It's like, no, I just want to watch the game. I don't want to be like, I don't want to have Catholicism or like politics just shoved down my throat for 3 hours.
I'm sorry, it doesn't look. It might work for certain other situations, but like when you're doing the Super Bowl, it's the freaking Super Bowl. Like just stop forcing these. Like just stop. stop.
You're forcing it, man. You don't want to force it.
I just kind of miss when the Super Bowl focused on just making like really
just
funny commercials.
Yes.
Just focus on that, because that's why people are there. They're there to watch the game. They're there. It's like you don't have
fun. Yeah, it's like not to be just inundated with all that other crap. Like you get that enough. Literally, we were just coming off of like weeks of political ads because we literally live in Massachusetts, but yet still get fed New Hampshire presidential primary ads for some reason. I literally think I don't want to go too off topic here, but this is my PSA. We do not live in New Hampshire. We cannot vote in New Hampshire. Why? And this is more harkening back to even like 2022, the elections of 2022. Literally, all the commercials, 95% of the political commercials I saw in the fall and summer of 2022 were from New Hampshire. Were from people I didn't even want to vote for. And honestly, by the end, I didn't even want to vote for any of those people. I was watching their commercials every 5 seconds on TV. Anyway, continue. Well, let's get back to the happiness. But I just I went down a road there. So apologize to the good people in New Hampshire. You're good people, but I just cannot stand the fact that they feed your political ads down our throats every 2 to 4 years.
We don't need that.
No.
But let's go back to the better aspects. I will say I liked the one where Paramount Plus, where they had all the characters from the different shows.
Yes,
and
I love that one.
You
when
were
they
the one
threw
that
Hey
showed
Arnold.
it to me.
They threw Arnold.
And like
Patrick Stewart threw Arnold up the mountain.
Patrick Stewart. And then Creed was like, it was Creed, right? Like they were playing in the background. That was just that's the kind of like we need more of those commercials. Just have fun. Just like okay, whatever. Like,
that was that because I think they actually came out like a few days before the Super Bowl. I think they started playing that like a few days before. That was good. That was a good one. I definitely enjoyed that one. And you got Drew Barrymore just like trying to talk them out of throwing the kid, and yet just Patrick Stewart's just like, no, I'm throwing the kid.
I love that. That was great.
That was fantastic. Well done, Paramount Plus on that one.
Yeah, and also really quick too, the movie trailers. I was a little mixed on. Like I was kind of so on the Wicked trailer. I'm not a big Wicked fan. I'm sorry, guys. If you're a Wicked fan, I'm sure maybe the movie looks really great. Some of the songs from Wicked are pretty
good, but I've never really seen the movie in and of itself.
Well, I don't think so that's the thing. I don't think they ever made an official movie, so I think it was always on Broadway. It was always like a musical.
Because it's a musical, like by nature. So
yes.
I didn't even know that they were doing like something like that. Was this trailer for like the musical, or is it for like a movie about it? What was this for? I don't remember this one.
This was legit an actual like live action, like full live action movie that they're gonna do.
Got it.
And they're having like, a lot of famous actors. I think they had like it was like Ariana Grande plays like the Wicked Glinda the Good Witch of the North.
Okay, that makes sense.
No, sorry, not is it Ariana Grande? Wait. I'm sorry. I'm like.
Do you need me to do a little live in-show research?
Sure. Here? Yeah, you can do that while I figure out like because I know Cynthia Erivo, who I really love. She's a fantastic actress, but I don't know. This movie just looked too cheesy for me. It's just not my cup of tea. I mean, you know what? Maybe if you're a fan of Wicked, maybe you like it.
No, you're right. It's Ariana Grande.
It is Ariana Grande. Okay.
The Good Witch.
So they wanted to look for more like. Probably like a lot of actors and actors that could sing, which I totally understand. Like that totally makes sense. But I was like, yeah, kind of so in that. Same with Twisters. I was like, wait, Twisters? Like they're making a sequel to the 1996 Helen Hunt Bill Paxton movie.
Yeah, apparently
Twister.
the main the leads are Cynthia Erivo. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, no, you're right. Cynthia Erivo,
and Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I love Cynthia Erivo.
Apparently started like teasing it back in like 2021. So apparently it's taken years to like really come to fruition here.
It's the first time I've heard of it, so okay.
I'm just saying like that. I was just reading through the synopsis of the lead up. So
Okay, yeah, I can see kind of like early pandemic maybe it affecting it, maybe the release time or the film time of the movie, all that stuff.
Who knows?
But yeah, so the trailers were kind of so-so, like except for the trailer. I was like, oh, I was shaking. I was like, oh, this is I'm so excited for was the Deadpool 3 trailer.
I remember seeing something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because now what they're doing is they're going to bring back Wolverine, so we're going to see Hugh Jackman one more time. Maybe one more time. We don't know. He said one more time in 2017. Now he's back and we're in 2024 now. So we'll see how many more times he's actually going to play Wolverine. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. That was the movie I think I've been waiting for quite a while. So I'm excited for that. Cool. The other movie's kind of so-so. Twisters. I mean, it's Twisters. You know, it's a sequel to an old 90s movie, so what more can I say about that? With one of the guys from the current Top Gun movie. But yeah, so overall, yeah, not bad. Just cool. But the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, that was good.
And then I did want to touch on, obviously, the other entertainment aspect of Super Bowl every year, and that is the halftime show. This year it was Usher. And he ended up having a couple of special guests, Alicia Keys, Lil Jon.
That was epic.
Was it Lil Jon?
Yeah, that was Lil Jon. Yeah, he was there.
No, I was just wondering because it was Alicia Keys, Lil Jon. I think Jermaine Dupri showed up on stage at one point, and then Ludacris. Okay. I remember because they did like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just. Give us your thoughts on it. I thought honestly it was pretty good. I thought it wasn't the best one I've ever seen, but I thought it was a pretty good halftime show. It definitely gave me nostalgia back to like, you know, our middle school and high school years when he was like one of the big artists really back in those days. So I thought it was a good performance. I liked it.
Yeah, it was. You're right. It was
kind of weird when he took his shirt off, but other than that,
yeah, he pulled an Adam Levine. I'm like, no, don't do the Adam Levine, no.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of that was the only kind of like cringy moment, if you want to call it that.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, like I thought it was really cool and a nice throwback.
Yeah, well, so it was funny. Like, so first of all, yes, the whole I thought the setup was really good. I thought it was cool seeing his whole team of dancers and him and everything. Like I thought that was really fun, and they kept the pace going pretty well, and they were switching the songs. It was nice kind of medley of his songs, like and yeah, no, you're right. I had a fun time. You're right, not the best halftime show, but you know what? Hey, it was pretty solid. It was I would still put it up there. It was you're right. Same thing. I love the special guests. Love Alicia Keys with their crazy cape that she had. She looked like she was like wearing the Spawn cape from like that 1997 Spawn movie. Like it was just flowing like everywhere. I'm like, whoa, that's over the top. But okay, that was great. Great entrance. It was it was cool. It was funny too because a lot of the songs. So I'm not a huge Usher fan. Not that I don't like Usher. I don't want you guys to mistake that. I like Usher. I don't have the extensive knowledge on what his songs are because I feel like he's one of those, like, he's an artist that he sings, but he also produces a lot of other artists, you know. So it was just funny hearing like a lot of the songs he was playing. I'm like, oh, that's an Usher song, because I knew the song that came on. Yeah. But then I'm like, oh, that's by Usher. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So there were a number of songs like that. Yeah. Like, you too? Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. You don't get what I'm doing, do you? Usher? Yeah.
Oh. I was like, wait, you're doing something, aren't you?
I'm sure everybody watching probably picked up on it after the first like 3 seconds. I was actually kind of doing that to see how long it would take you to realize that what I was trying to do. Sorry, buddy.
No, good one. You nailed the timing. That was perfect.
I'm like, I don't know how much I can say yeah without like just trying to just blatantly get away
just keeping a straight face.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well,
that was great.
If you haven't turned off the episode after that, but no, it was
Good show. Good show.
Yeah, no, it was a good performance, and definitely I do give him credit for like the ensemble that he brought together in terms of like guest performers, because they fit right into the show in general. So I thought it was very good. I would say if I had to rate it like out of 10, like 10 being best of all time, 1 being like the worst, I'd probably say like a solid 7.5, maybe an 8. Yeah. I think is a very I think that's a warranted score.
Agreed.
So
totally agree. Well said.
Yeah. So and yeah, we'll be very curious to see who next year's halftime performer is. But yeah, will it be Taylor Swift?
Really?
I'm sorry. I just would find it hilarious, like especially if the Chiefs like made the Super Bowl one year and Taylor Swift was the halftime performer. That you want to talk about Taylor Swift overload, like that would be like the ultimate, just like let's just shove Taylor Swift down your throat.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, that I wouldn't be surprised if they. I even actually had this funny image this year where I was like when Usher did his halftime. When he starts the halftime show, or maybe it's like sometime in the middle of the show, he all of a sudden just like gets the mic ready, goes, "'Cause baby, now I got bad blood," and then Taylor Swift coming in from her tour from, I think it was from Tokyo.
Tokyo, right? Yeah.
So just right from the plane from Tokyo, she just jumps out, like parachute and everything, and lands on this like inflatable car, just like in the Bad Blood music video. And then they just both start singing the song. Like that was kind of my like idea of like maybe that's what they could do for the.
It's not bad. It's actually not bad. Like that would definitely be memorable.
I don't know if Taylor Swift would be comfortable jumping from a plane, skydiving into the Super Bowl halftime show. But hey, if they ever want to do that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea. One last thing I was gonna say, it was kind of interesting going back to the Usher performance, is that there were so many people for some reason that were convinced, and I know he was there, but like there were so many people that were convinced Justin Bieber was going to be one of like the guest performers, and everybody was like, there were a bunch of people that they were like legitimately like pissed off that he didn't have Justin Bieber out there. I'm like, Justin Bieber like just wouldn't fit in with like the tone of the performance. Like,
I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that completely disagrees with everyone's opinion. Yeah, I think Justin Bieber he was better off on the sidelines.
Sorry, I just watched a clip that with and just put it out there with no context. Kyle just saying, yeah, I'm one of those ones that disagrees with everybody's opinions.
Which generally do, yeah. It's me in a nutshell, guys. So
sorry. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I know that could be further from the truth, but I just so if we just present that no context,
no, it's actually pretty close to the truth.
A no context clip of Kyle just saying, I always disagree with everybody's opinions.
It's somewhat close to the truth, actually. So it's all good. Yeah, I'm more of an indie personality.
You're a mixed bag. You're not overly disagreeable, but you're not overly agreeable either. It's okay.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
But anyway, like I said, an overall good Super Bowl product overall, between the game, the entertainment, the commercials, definitely worked out for the best this year. So all right, so now to transition to the other portion of our episode, which we always love so much, and that is my final thought and the Sue's reviews. I'm going to go first with my final thought because it's a very brief final thought, and it's just one final congratulations to both the Chiefs and the 49ers on a just tremendously played Super Bowl. I mean, it was a great game, came right down the wire, and even though I'm kind of bummed that the Chiefs won it again, I give them props. They got the job done, and we're very curious to see if next year if they're able to get a potential three-peat. Kind of looking ahead to maybe three-peat in the Super Bowl next year. But congrats to both teams on a well-played game, and like I said, just a good product for this year's game on the whole. So I was very, very pleased to see that. So now,
nice.
That's my final thought for the evening. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Kyle for what I'm sure will be a very riveting Sue's reviews. So take it away.
All right. So for this week, it's kind of hard. I've seen a number of movies and I actually just finished a show. So I figured, you know what, maybe I'll talk about the show that I just finished, since it's kind of more fresh in my mind. And that is the newest season of True Detective, called Night Country, and it's about these two detectives who, essentially, they solve this like very confusing. They're not sure if it's a murder, but they find these dead bodies in the ice, and they have to figure out who done it. So kind of simple setup. Just like the other True Detective seasons, it's always about some kind of murder mystery going on. But this one is a little more kind of on the spiritual side of things. So the show actually takes place in Africa. Africa. No, sorry. Alaska. Nowhere near Africa. This is Alaska, Kyle. Jesus Christ.
This one for Africa.
Yeah, that was the opening titles of the episode. I can't. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've clear. I've either had too much coffee or not enough coffee today. So
Alaska, Africa, what's a continent?
Same thing. It's all the same. Like, no. and it was, and just like.
Kyle, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the
best review of all time. Yeah. Right. No, it's
you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you. So where was I? It was so it takes place in Alaska. So they have to kind of figure out what's going on, and what I liked about this season compared to other 3 seasons was this season was actually more of a horror kind of vibe. Ooh. So the other series were more kind of like time jumping, more straightforward, like detective plots, whereas this one kind of had a little bit of a. So if you're not a fan of horror movies, you probably wouldn't like this season as much. But I thought it was very well made. Jodie Foster was incredible, and her co-star, I think her name was Kelly. Shoot, I can't even. I see. This is why I gotta come a little more prepared for these things. But sorry.
Do some more.
I think her name is. Let me just see. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, guys. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna be on my.
That's right. You're pulling a me during the segment. Just
I'm just
being on the show, maybe on the computer or something.
Yeah, I'm just Callie Race. Okay, I just want to make sure. I think that's just Callie Race or Kelly Rice. She was incredible too. Like they both, I think, were honestly acting wise the best parts of the show. They really were. They had a very unique dynamic. I really liked it. This season's a bit shorter. It's 6 episodes, and I think it kind of like took a hit from that. Like it was overall a really solid mystery. I liked the horror aspect of it. It got pretty creepy at times, but I just thought that they could have wrapped it up a little better. I think maybe they could have actually used a few more episodes, because usually True Detective is about, I want to say, between like 8 to 10 episodes, and I think that this season would have benefited from that, because the last episode definitely felt a bit rushed, and I thought was overall the weakest episode of the whole series, or of the whole season. But it's an anthology series, and I like it because every season is its own story, its own characters, and so I'm always excited every time they announce a new True Detective. I'm always excited to see what they have in store and what actors they're going to use this time. So I've always liked this series. Even season 2, which I know is not the best season, definitely the worst season out of all of them, but it was still a good season in its own right. Every season had its own intriguing mystery. So if you guys are looking for a really solid detective show, I would recommend True Detective very much, especially season 1 and season 3. Those were my 2 favorites. I absolutely loved season 1 and 3 a lot. Season 2 was okay. I feel like I would say maybe watch a few episodes of that, see if you're into it. If you like it, watch more. If you don't, then it's probably not for you. Before I thought was a very worthy addition. And yeah, definitely solid. Just keeping up with the solid series. Just like I said, just a little short. Last episode was a bit lacking. Once you kind of figure out what was going on, you're like, oh, okay. That was just kind of like, all right. It just kind of was like,
next,
underdeveloped. Yeah. So, it is what it is. I still like it for what they did, and like I said, the acting was great, and every season has always a really great cast. So either way, I think you're gonna like this. So True Detective, Night Country.
Well, thank you, Kyle. And shout out to Alaska's own True Detective.
Maybe next season will take place in Africa.
Yeah, seriously. Hey, they're going to make a big shift. One season Alaska, one season Africa.
They're going to
maybe go Australia for the season after that. Just go all through all the A's. True Detective, Afghanistan.
Oh, God. They're going everywhere across the world.
Yeah, literally. No part of the world unturned. If you went to Afghanistan, you really would have some True Detective moments. For sure. Anyway, I'm gonna stop going down this road. But anyway, thank you, Kyle, for that review as always. And thank you to all of you for tuning in to another fun-filled edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Again, big shout-out to our sponsors, Zyman Organizing, Wes Woodson. Links will be in the description. And listen, you can find us, folks, here on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But please don't find us in real life. We don't like it. Unless you have something to complain about Taylor Swift to him, or maybe teach Kyle maybe teach Kyle a geography lesson about Alaska versus Africa, or just come up to him and say just a whole bunch of times and see how long it takes him to react to it. I had to get one more in there. Little John voice. Anyway, like I said, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been another tremendous episode, and until next time, again, that's Kyle, I'm Robbie, and this has been On a Couch Talking Sports, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.